Well, good afternoon. If it's Mondays at 3 o'clock Eastern, it's Mondays with Michael live here on Facebook. Thank you for joining me. If you're joining me live today in the room, if you're watching this post session, thanks for checking it out. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're here on Facebook. We have a Facebook fan page, company page. We're also on LinkedIn with a company page, and we're also out there on Twitter. We share a lot of content about leadership development, team development, supervisory skill training, and other nuggets about the workplace. So you may want to check us out, follow us as you go along. Well, today's all about leadership. I recently went to the ATD conference here in Washington, D.C., and on the trade show floor, everyone was selling leadership. Everyone was selling leadership, all types of different leadership, different models, different processes, different assessment tools. There's a lot of information about leadership out there in Google. If you go out there and Google leadership, you're going to find a lot of stuff. We're fortunate we work with Wiley, who's our publisher partner, and about 6-7 years ago, they did a long research project, published this book called The Work of Leaders. If you haven't read it, it's a really easy read. It gives information on the research of the assessment tool I'm going to talk to you about today. If you don't have a copy, happy to send you a copy, but it's fairly reasonably priced out there on Amazon. So we look at leadership from a perspective of one-to-many. So when we use DiSC, when we work with DiSC, we talk about, the DiSC workplace is a product that gets used to kind of understand yourself and others. And you can use that in team building, you use it in leadership, you can use it in supervisory skill training, but it's really understanding yourself and others. We do everything DiSC management, which is the manager, supervisory role, one-to-one. How do I get better? How do I do better working with those that report directly to me? Understanding DiSC in that process. And then we use work of leaders in leadership development. How do I lead the group? How do I lead the group? We use DiSC in this process also, and over the next 3 weeks, we're going to take a look at the 3 areas that the Work of Leaders assessment measures. Crafting a vision, building alignment, and championing execution are the 3 steps that the research told us leaders need to use and need to do well for them to lead the group, or whether that group is 5, 50, 500, or 5,000. Using this model to lead the group will make you a better leader. And it's really focused on you, because we do use an assessment along the way. For those of you who have not seen this before, this is the Everything DiSC Work of Leaders profile. Again, it's part of the Everything DiSC family of products. If you've never taken the assessment before and would like to take it, just send me a message wherever you're checking this out today, and I'd be happy to send you a link to take the assessment. And I'm happy to debrief that report for you one-on-one. I also do a 30-minute webinar on this product fairly regularly. If you're interested in taking a look at that webinar also, I do a deeper dive on all the areas of the assessment, all the 18 behaviors. But like all the Everything DiSC workplace assessment, you'll start by scoring the assessment around DiSC. So it's about your behavioral style. The difference between this and the workplace profile is that there are 8 different areas, 8 different priorities of the Everything DiSC Work of Leaders map than there is the workplace map. So we look at 8 different areas, and depending on where your dot falls on the map, you'll fall in one of these 8 priorities. So it's either pioneering, energizing, affirming, inclusive, humble, deliberate, resolute, or commanding. And in the classroom, we talk about all those 8 areas. You see where your dot falls on the map, and we do a lot of interactivity, and you'll see a bunch of video clips around the 8 different priorities in the Work of Leaders map. And we also do some Everything DiSC activities, as we normally do in our DiSC sessions. But we get to a place after that, we kind of take a break, and we get to a place after that where we really focus on these 3 areas: crafting a vision, building alignment, and championing execution. And well, over the next 3 weeks, we're going to take a look at each of those 3 areas. We're going to talk about it a little bit, and we're going to talk about the 6 behaviors that come in with each of those 3 areas. So today we're going to talk about crafting a vision. Crafting a vision. So what are we talking about when we talk about crafting a vision? So we're thinking about a future moment. What will it look like down the line? What's the vision for this team? What's the vision for this department? What's the vision for this organization? Now, a lot of organizations have vision statements and mission statements at the high level. You walk into their offices, you walk into their corporate offices, and it's plastered all over the walls, and that's great. It's good to have a company vision, company mission. But if I were to ask you as a leader, what is the vision and mission of your team? The 6 of you that work together, the 7 of you who work together, the 20 of you who work together, what is the vision? What would you tell me? And a lot of leaders I coach will say, Michael, our department really doesn't have a vision. We just kind of support the mission of the company. Okay, you can support the mission of the company, and that's great. But you need to have a vision for your team. Your team needs to all feel that they're part of the same group and that that vision is there to support the vision and mission of the organization. So you should have a vision. You should have a vision. So how do we craft that vision? Well, the assessment takes a look at 6 behaviors in this area, and they're categorized 2 at a time. So the first thing we look at is exploration. And under exploration, we take a look at 2 things. Okay, while you're crafting a vision, you need to explore the possibilities. I like to say, as you start with a blank sheet of paper, what can it look like? What can it be? And when you're doing that, when you're exploring, there are 2 behaviors that you really need to focus your attention on and try to do really well. And that's remaining open to new ideas. Okay, this is something that can't happen like today. It may take some time to think about and get feedback from those who work around you, work with you, and maybe those outside your team. So you need to remain open in this exploration process. So the assessment measures, and you'll see as we go through the assessment, these little stems, and it'll tell you which of these areas you are strong in and ones that you may need to stretch a little bit in. So remaining open, first behavior, that's important. And the second in this area of exploration is looking at or prioritizing the big picture. You want to take a look at the big picture. You don't want to get into the minutiae details right now. You don't want to put this grandiose idea on the board and somebody say, no, we tried that last year, it didn't work. Put it out there. Get the big picture. Remain open to a lot of ideas, even if they've been tried in the past, even if they sound crazy, because, you know, somebody in some room said iPhone one day, and now look what happened. So think of the big picture. Think of the big picture and remain open to new ideas. So the first step in this area of vision is exploration. First driver is exploration. The second driver in the first step of vision is boldness. We have to be bold. Being bold, very, very important. And we look at 2 behaviors in this area. One is being adventurous. Okay. The other side of that stem is cautious, and there may be time to be cautious down the line, but when you're crafting the vision, you want to be adventurous. You want to kind of think out of the box, you know, what it is we're trying to do. And the other is to speak out. Speak out both on the team internally, but also speak out to others outside the team. Be willing to share this idea, this big, bold idea, this big, bold vision with others in the team and outside the team. You may get criticized along the way, and that's okay. There's time for that feedback down the line. But when you're crafting the vision, you want to be adventurous and you want to speak out. Now, again, depending on your DiSC style, this may be very easy for you. This may be very difficult for you. But you have to try this. You have to give this a shout out. And the third step in this first area, the third driver, is testing assumptions. So now we've got this big idea. We've got it out there on the flip chart paper. We're talking about it. We're all feeling pretty good about it. Now you got to test the assumptions. Now it's time to seek counsel. So if you're leading a team and you're inside an organization, you may want to seek counsel from another leader inside your organization. Or I tell folks that I coach, you may want to seek counsel from somebody outside your organization that does what you do internally. So if you're in finance, bounce this idea off another finance person in an organization. If you're in IT, bounce off something from another IT person inside the organization. Seek counsel. Talk to people inside and outside the company. And then you have to explore the implications. This is where you think about, okay, if we go down this road, how's this going to impact others who work around us, those of us who work on the team that are going to put this vision forward, and maybe those outside the company, maybe our customers. So seeking counsel and exploring implications. And those are the 6 behaviors that we assess, talk about, measure, and discuss in the classroom and in our coaching sessions with our leaders. So that's the first step. We're going to come back next week and doing building alignment. So come back next week and we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the third one the week after that. So thanks for hanging out with me today. This is Mondays with Michael live here on Facebook, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday. Go and take the assessment. Send me a message. Take care.